I was bruised and battered, I couldn't tell what I felt. I was unrecognizable to myself. I saw my reflection in a
Hey guys, Homeless Bum here. I'm going to talk about Gangstalking again today. I'm just going to go over some of the books that I've gleaned some principles on and looking at it through the eyes of Gangstalking. And so, without further ado, we'll bring up the book list and I'll go over some things. I'm going to try and go over them pretty quick because there's a lot to cover. It's very pertinent. So, I'll see you when the book list comes up. Okay, first book up here is going to be Bet Your Life with Richard Dooling. This is all about insurance and vital fraud. If you don't know what vital fraud is, you might want to look it up. But you could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars if someone gets your information or enough information from you, which is what these guys do when they steal your identity, right? They can go ahead and take insurance out, or insurance policies out on you. Even you can easily get a shady insurance underwriter. And that's not really a big deal, because he makes a ton of profit off of writing these insurance policies. And if a person has enough information on you, they can go ahead and sign you up for an insurance policy, and you'll never even know that it's on you. If they can get you to commit suicide, great. Even if they can't through vital fraud, you could be worth $200,000-$400,000 sitting there walking around and having no idea that there's an insurance policy out on you. Now, in the book, there's a guy with AIDS, right? And so I went ahead and got the book, read through the book, and I see a lot of these other signs around me, which is literally one person. There was a panhandle sign that was left on the sidewalk. Oh, I have AIDS, I need help. And Rhonda Burns takes me back to Rhonda Burns' book with there's a guy with AIDS that miraculously gets cured of AIDS in her book. Her book is about laws of attraction, and so then all this starts parlaying together into, well, I had a preacher come under the bridge where me and a bunch of guys were hanging out and just drinking beer. So he gives us a little bit of food, starts talking about God, and the end of the conversation is interrupted by a phone call, and yep, another reference to a guy with AIDS. When I got a couple days work out here, and we were in an outside environment doing a lunch break. Everybody was sitting around. There was a girl behind me. I had my back to her, and three guys in front of me, and we were all just eating pizza and drinking soda during our lunch break. She just starts blurting out, yeah, I have autoimmune deficiency. She didn't finish it, but, all our eyes start bulging out real wide, and we're like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? I don't know, since she was behind me, maybe she could have been doing all this pointing crap that usually happens, or in the insinuations that you never actually get to see. I'm not sure. But this is how far they will go with their liminal and subliminal stuff. The liminal portion of this would be me seeing the cardboard sign on the sidewalk, and then all this other stuff adds up as far as this subliminal conversation, such as the preacher ending the conversation, such as the preacher under the bridge with the phone call interruption, and then talking about another guy with AIDS. And that would be more of a subliminal portion of it. The liminal portion would be then me leading myself up to think, oh my God, something horrendous about myself? Are they trying to tell me something? Do I have AIDS? Let me go run and get a blood test. Now, with the blood tests and that kind of stuff, yes, they can put you into a false positive, or just get someone really shitty or shady. I've seen a lot of poor things come from Penn Medicine, the people they send as far as the homeless outreach. Really grimy stuff out here. And yes, it will go into the professional field and the medical field. So when you're talking about organized crime and you're talking about how much money can be possibly mm, taken out of the system, or how much money a worthless person is worth, there's a lot of things that are on the table, and including murder and fraud, which, um, you know, the greed for money and murder is as old as time itself. So it's nothing really new. It just has a different shiny coat to it, a little bit of a different polish. All right, so we'll go ahead and try and get to the next book here. Okay, the next book that we're going to go over is Cop Without a Badge. It's a story of Kevin Mayer. He was an extremely successful CI for the feds, and did tons of coke, bought guns and submachine guns with known drug dealers, and just absolutely nutso story. But supposedly all this stuff was true. To say this, the takeaway here, as far as gang stalking goes, is all these people that do these ridiculous amount of things, as long as the Fed can be literally fed, a few criminals here and there, a lot of things can go unnoticed, as long as a person says, look, I'm a CI, and, you know, I'm going ahead and doing the right thing. The feds and also the CIs might not be as honorable as we would like them to be, or that we actually think them to be. So reading through this book, you can learn a lot of bad things, and you can learn a lot of good things as well. The takeaway for the gang stalked is just the fact of the matter that if these people are feeding regular cops, or if they're feeding the feds, then there's a lot of things that, you know, that aren't off the table, just for the fact that there's a bunch of money involved. So, next book up is Prophet's Prey by Sam Brower. And Sam Brower does his investigation into the fundamentalist version of the Church of Jesus Christ and the Latter-day Saints. So supposedly this turned out to be a huge criminal organization, and Sam Brower did his investigations. Excellent book. You should read it, but the fact that he didn't know that he was actually talking about gang stalking the whole time everybody was going against him. These people in these cars would go ahead and try and run him off the road, or almost run him off the road. And these people were taking pictures of him. They were slandering his name. One guy even, he got to the hotel before Sam got to the hotel. Sam didn't even know what hotel he was going to, or where. Well, he knew what hotel. He didn't even know where it was. When he got there, there was the receptionist at the desk says, yeah, your friend already checked in. He's waiting for you. If not for that one little innocuous thing, he would have never realized that his enemy, one of the guys that was stalking him, was right in the room next door. Well, how does he get the room right next door? When the guy came in, he went ahead and said, oh, my friend Sam Brower is going to be coming. Can you make sure you give him this room number? I want to be right next to him. And the receptionist did exactly as she was told to do, except that she dropped one little part of the conversation, and which led Sam into this: how do they know where I'm at? How do they know where I'm going? And how the hell did they get a room right next to mine? Well, as I was reading through his book, gang stalking is written all over it. It's a lovely book. It's very cool. He's kind of, I don't know, he's kind of like a Serpico type figure in the private investigatory business, so I thought it was really cool. I wanted to see how all these people think, and what they're doing behind my back. So a lot of these things, like I have another book that I'm going to review that was written by a Fed. So it's these are things that you'll read in the book and say, yes, it probably pertains to my life, or it does pertain to my life, and it's definitely worth a read if you're a reader. Next book up is Beautiful Mind by Sylvia Nasser, and this is a book about the John Nash, the famous mathematician, who went nuts, but he didn't really go that nuts. Gangstalking's written all over him, and this is all the way back in the 40s and also 30s and 40s, 50s too. But anyway, so back in the time of Einstein, Oppenheimer, and Nash, and a bunch of other, beautiful, brilliant minds, this was going on. So if you really understand it, and you can actually look through, not look through, but read between the lines, you'll see gang-stalking all over John Nash. This guy, he's going here, he's going there, he goes to this country and goes to that country, and people just, happen to be there, or just happen to appear. It's not they happen to be there, they already know where he's going. They want to go ahead and carouse him in certain ways, make sure he does do something or doesn't do something. And what they really wanted to do is just get him into a psych ward and just call him crazy, which they ended up doing. Actually, multiple times. So they convinced all his surroundings that this guy was nuts. And I think if this book was fairly accurate, it's extremely well documented, extremely well done. Won all kinds of awards, so I'm going to say it was well documented. And yeah, John Nash, he broke from all this stuff, and they got what they wanted, for him to break. So, being a famous mathematician and working in probably a lot of secret stuff, they deemed him a liability. Oppenheimer, after he wouldn't work on, after he worked on the after he worked on the atom bomb, he was refusing to work on the hydrogen bomb, and so they deemed him a traitor, Russian spy type deal, and bam. Smarter you are, the little more you're a bit more dangerous to them. So you're an asset until you're a liability. I'm going to stop this here, and we're going to go ahead and go over a few other different books. And this is going to be the takeaways, looking through these books in the eyes of gang stalking. Thank you.